I want to do a short video to talk about this generative art workshop. I just got my postcards back. I'm going to be sending them around to see if anybody wants to come. Hopefully they do. We have 12 spaces available, and as I'm sure you can see, it's going to be a workshop to introduce the ideas of what generative art is, but I'm specifically doing it without using computers, no programming language, anything like that. Everything is going to be done using pencil crayons, rulers, and then also some form of randomness. So for this example, there's the ruler I was talking about. What I did for this postcard is I, on the back of it, put an exercise to follow so you can get an idea of the kind of work that we're going to do in the workshop. So anyway, to finish up, it's on October 29th from 3 to 6 at the Gerrard Art Space in Toronto. I'm making it affordable, so I hope people come and enjoy themselves. But what I thought I would do right now is just do a quick walkthrough of this exercise as a way of kind of explaining what we're talking about when we talk about generative art. So generative art's been around for, well, depending on how you define it, it's been around for thousands of years. If you look back at the instructions for making tiles, in the common parlance of the moment, it seems to be dated back to about the 50s. And it's always been synonymous with computers, but that doesn't always have to be the case, because the basic idea of what generative art is you have a set of instructions and you follow those instructions. These are going to be our instructions down here, and embedded in the instructions are points of randomness. So as you can see in the instructions here, I talk about flipping a coin. The heads determines where you draw lines, tails draw lines in a different way, that kind of thing. So we always have an idea of what the image is going to be. We just don't always know what it's actually going to turn out to look like. So for this one, the instructions are find two colors that you like and a coin to use for flipping. And the first thing we do is we flip the coin because we need to decide which color is going to be color number 1 and which color is going to be color number 2. I'm going to write down my coin flips over here. So first flip, that is a heads, and apologies for bumping the microphone. So heads means color number 1 is first. I think I may have just flipped those around. We can go back and look at the replay if we need to. But anyway, let's, you know what? Let's just say blue, orange over here. We'll flip one more time to make sure that it's all left up to chance and I'm not subliminally picking blue as color number 1. All right, so flip. All right, heads again. All right, so blue is going to be color 1. Color number 1 is blue, which makes color number 2 obviously orange. There's nothing specific about these colors. I just picked them out of here. You can pick whatever colors you want, or you can use watercolors. I've done stuff with watercolors before. Markers. I'm going to try a whole bunch of different things or materials as a way of looking at how to add some variety to what the outputs are. So anyway, color number 2. There we go. All right, so that's the first instruction. That's number 2. Now, number 3, for each of the 9 squares above, you're going to flip the coin 3 times. And the first flip is going to determine whether you draw a line from the top left to the bottom right. So from here to here, or if it's tails, we're going to draw a line from the top right to the bottom left. Okay, so that's flip 1. So let's do that. So that is heads. So we're going to go from the top left to the bottom right. I'm using a ruler because I like to. Okay. No, should have, wait. I'm already making mistakes. I'm supposed to be using color 1. We'll just go over top of it. This is the beauty of doing it by hand, is bugs become features. All right, there we go. Good enough. Awesome. All right, now, so that's flip 1. Flip 2 over here says heads, fill in the top triangle with color 1. Tails, fill in the bottom triangle with color 1. All right, so let's flip again. Heads again. All right, so fill in the top triangle with color 1. I've done this. This is maybe the, 10th one of these that I've done. And one of the things I really like about generative art is you get a sense of like the space of the possible. And what I mean by that is the rules that we set out define the space, and the possibilities available within that space are determined by where the randomness goes. And to what degree you let the randomness determine the visual output. So the more you let the randomness affect the output, the more varied, obviously, and the wider the range of the possible is. But then you also get kind of like a more nebulous sense of what is the idea, or what are the rules actually driving towards. Okay, so flip 3. Heads, fill in the remaining triangle with color 2. Tails, leave it blank. All right. It fell off the table and went hiding underneath the synthesizer. Tails. All right, so tails means that we don't fill it in at all. So that's number 1. Done. Let's write down, though, what we actually flipped for that. So we're going to do 9 squares. And for the first square was heads, and then heads again because we filled in the top portion, and then tails because we left this blank. So heads, heads, tails. Anytime we flip a coin and it turns up heads, heads, tails, or flip a coin 3 times and we get heads, heads, tails, we're always going to get this pattern right here. So let's see what happens if we do, let's do 3 in a row over here. So this one is tails, heads. It's kind of smudgy. Oh, it's because I'm using a very soft pencil. And heads again. Oops. It's my cue to swap it out. Or sorry, excuse me, that's heads, obviously. I really do like the sort of human in the mix here, because as much as we're flipping coins, there's also some randomness to how I make mistakes. All right, so THH, that means that our line goes from the top right to the bottom left for flip number 1. See tails, draw a line from top right to the bottom left. All right, so let's do that. Top right, bottom left. And because it's heads, just like heads over here, that means we fill in the top triangle. But on this one, top triangle is obviously on that side. I'm hoping that people see these postcards and look at them and see like this weird thing on the back and actually do it. It'd be great if people actually shared it, just because I'm really curious to see what other people do. What was really fun was giving this to some kids and watching as they just completely ignored the rules and made their own designs. This ruler thing is not working very well. There we go. this in a bit more nicely. You can always come back later and kind of touch it up too. All right, so heads. And now the last one is heads as well. So that means we get out color number 2 and we fill in this one over here. So let's do it like this. First appearance of orange. I always kind of compare this to doing it digitally, doing it with code, because most of everything that I do is written in code, and that becomes part of the aesthetic, is that the way that it is rendered is also rendered, for screen, and all the lines are as perfect as you want to make them. You don't have any like little misses, like down here. This line didn't quite hit the corner right. But hey, whatever. That's just part of the deal. Okay. So let's do the next one. Whoops, that is like the worst coin flip ever. Heads. Heads. That was kind of a poor flip. Tails. Sweet. All right. So again, this one is different than, oh, no, it's not. It's the exact same as this. So we're going to get this exactly again. Right? Heads, top left to bottom right. And then you fill in the top. Again, apologies for bumping the mic. Kind of feels very much just like prototyping. Like, I don't know, I like the analog nature of this, and maybe I'll come to appreciate it more when I come back and look at these in a few months. But I don't know, this feels a little janky to me. All right. So exact same, heads, tails. All right, so now this one right here. Tails. So far the same as this. Tails, I like it. That's a triangle filled in on the bottom. And extra triangle, fill it in with orange. Nice. Okay, so for this one, that's heads. So for this one, we are doing a line from top left, or top right to bottom left. And then we're filling in the bottom triangle. I asked a friend of mine who is very good with a branch of mathematics called combinatorics and optimization. I said to him, how many different versions of this are there? And how would you go about figuring that out? And I showed him what the rule set was, and he made the point that there's essentially just 8 different states, 8 different versions of triangles for each square. So there's 8 different ways you can have T's and H's organized when you have 3 of them, which then corresponds obviously to 3 different or 8 different states on here. And since we have 9 different squares, when you use factorial math, I believe it is, you end up with just using these 2 colors, flipping the coin 3 times and doing this. There are something like 134 million different variations of what this could look like. So that's the other thing I really love is like we have such simple rules here, like flip a coin, draw some lines and fill in some triangles, do it 9 times, and we get up to not infinite, but like infinite in terms of the number that we could actually create physically. All right, that looks good, that one. Okay. It's kind of like a pinwheel effect going there. First flip. I love it when they spin like that. Tails. Next flip. Slid off a little bit, but it is also tails. All right, 50-50 chance. We get 3 T's. Nice, 3 T's. All right, so it's going to be very similar to this. We just don't fill in the top part there. Sometimes I line up the edges like a grid or 2 away. Scintillating content telling you about how I line up grids. Okay, so now we're going on the bottom of that. Let's just see if we can do it like this, whether this works well. Okay, and then leave it blank at the top. We're over halfway done now. Okay. You know what? I am going to see if I can clean that. You know what? No, leave it. Finish what we're doing first. Okay, this one next. First flip. Tails. Getting a few tails here. Tails again. Wow, so we're going to have a repeat of this or this. Tails again. That is this is I can tell I like this stuff when I'm like, that's wild. I'm like, no, we're just flipping coins here. Relax. Okay. By the way, you can download this PDF and you can use the QR code that my hand is conveniently covering up right now. Or you can just go to the website sspboyd.ca. Here's a good shot of the QR code right there. If you want to take a look at that, you can go there. Please share it. That'd be nice to see what everybody makes. Right. Okay. So we're doing this again. And yeah, you can download your own, print it off. I printed out way too many postcards, so I'm sure I'll be giving these out for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I've said it before. I'm really curious to see what other people do. I'm almost more curious to see how other people may misinterpret the instructions or maybe not misinterpret, maybe just interpret their own way. And visually, how does that come out? And I went through so many different versions of these instructions here to try and see, like, does this make sense? Does this make sense? And I tested it out, being the good user interface developer person I used to be. Tested it out on a whole bunch of people, and just like any other set of instructions, it's amazing how differently people interpret what I might think is straightforward, but it's only straightforward until you actually put it in front of other people, and other people think of their own ways of doing things, which is great. All right, last row. Here we go. Okay, heads. Heads. All right, so right now we could be repeating this right here. Tails, we are. This I find interesting. Like normally you don't get this many repetitions. Like you expect some repetition. There's only 8 different configurations of H's and T's when they're in triplets like this. And if you do that over 9 squares, you would expect at least 1 to be the same. But right now we have 1 the same, 2 the same, 3 the same, and these 2 are also the same. So we're really only seeing, 3 different variations. This one's unique, same, unique, same. Yeah, 3 different versions. I was dangerously close to doing math. Now we are going to draw our first line from top left to bottom right, top left. And we're going to fill in the top part. Yeah, we're just doing this all over again, which is this as well. Beautiful. Quite nice. Okay. Next, over here. Tails. All right. Tails. All right, so we're going to have one of these 2 again. Heads. All right, this one. Those are the same. Yeah. All right, this one. Fill in the bottom. Keep forgetting to make sure I'm in the camera. Nice. And fill in the top part. Let's just freestyle this. Okay, last one. Let's see. Whoa, that's way off screen. Let's do that again. Tails. Yeah, tails. Tails. Again. Tails. That is tails. Yes, correct. Okay. So it's going to be the exact same as this one here. Doing this kind of makes me wish I had one of those old drafting tables from the 50s or 60s or 70s where you could do all of these angles really easily. Okay. Do a little bit of cleanup on this, maybe. Certainly clean up over here. Well, you know what? Let's just look at it first. So heads slash fill in the top with the second heads, and then tails means leave the bottom empty. So bottom empty, bottom full, bottom empty, bottom, or the extra, not bottom, but like extra triangle, full, empty, empty, or blank, blank, whatever, blank, full, blank, full, blank. Good. I like it. Let's clean it up a little bit. So yeah, this is a good example of the kind of things that I want to do in the workshop on October 29th. And we'll see. If it goes well, we'll do it again and definitely change things up as we figure out what works and what doesn't work. Is that erase? That's not bad. So this example is obviously totally prescribed, you know, printed out, written down, whatever. But just because, I mean, I came up with these rules, the whole point of the workshop is to try coming up with some of your own rules and try figuring out, you know, what are the possibilities from within whatever your artistic style is. This obviously lends very closely to the idea of quilting. Like, I've never quilted before, but some of these patterns look remarkably similar to some of the amazing people I follow on the internet that do some really cool generative quilting. So yeah, but also tile making. Like, this is the basics of like making tiles. Like, if you had 3 different triangular tiles, you could make one of these things. That's a good idea. I should go look for like online examples of triangular tiles and do it with that. Beautiful. So try it yourself. Go download it. And please check out the workshop. Thanks.